Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another video. My voice is finally well enough that I can try and go back to making some consistent videos. So I've been really excited to go over the release notes for 4.1 for some time. I just haven't really been able to. So let's go over them. Let's see what we've got. Interestingly, as we go through this, I think that, at least to me, the most important thing is all the way at the bottom, kind of like as if it's an afterthought, but it's a huge thing for the game. So I'll make sure to highlight that as we get into it. So a lot is coming with 4.1, or has come, I should say, at the time of my recording this, right? So we get two new Planeswalkers. One is going to be a new black-white Planeswalker, and it's called Daxos the Returned. So three abilities. First one is create a Greater Eidolon of Longing token. Fetch the first aura or enchantment card from your library. That Eidolon of Longing is a 1/1 white-black spirit, and then when you activate a loyalty ability, gain 1 experience. When you cast an aura or an enchantment card, gain 1 experience. At the end of your turn, this creature's power and toughness becomes XX. X is equal to your experience points. So both of our new Planeswalkers are going to be using this new experience mechanic. I think in theory it looks pretty cool, so I need to see if in practice it's as cool as it looks in theory, but I like it. The second ability, Endless Search, is pick one of the first 4 cards from your graveyard. Fetch that card, then the last aura card and the last creature card in your hand gains X mana. X is equal to your experience points. So this one really is just going to come down to how much experience are you going to be able to get and how quickly. If this was green, then we'd be able to get a ton of experience, but as it's white-black, we'll have to see. And then Underworld Bargain, the third ability. You gain 10 experience points, which is substantial. Then each opposing creature gets -X, and you gain X life. X is equal to your experience points. That is an awesome ability. This actually might take the cake as my favorite black-white walker. Once again, I need to test it out, see if in practice it's as cool as it looks in theory, but this one will definitely be worth the 650 crystals. The next one is a white-red Planeswalker. And I feel strongly that white-red is a duo that just does not get enough love right now. I still love Nahiri, for that matter, for the training grounds. Nahiri remains my fastest deck, just in terms of time, so I'm excited to see another white-red Planeswalker that looks pretty good. So the first thing that stands out to me about Kalemni, Disciple of Erois, is this 128 health, which is a lot, along with +5 to red and +5 to white. Those are fantastic mana gains. That means that you're going to be able to do some really cool stuff. It's going to be able to take some hits. It's going to be able to play some cards. That's really good. So like with our black-white walker, this one is going to once again take advantage of experience. So our first ability here is going to be create a Greater Avatar of Erois token. Fetch the first creature card from your library with base cost 14 or greater. And then that Erois token is an enchantment, and when you activate a loyalty ability, gain 1 experience. When you cast a creature with base cost 14 or greater, you gain 2 experience, and while on the board, your first creature gets +X in haste. X is equal to your experience points. This is a very good ability for 4 loyalty, especially considering that the third ability is going to be another thing that gives you 10 experience. Like, once you've used that third ability, this just becomes a permanent. At the very least, you get +11 to your first creature every turn. So pretty darn cool. Path to Victory. The first creature card in your hand with base cost 14 or greater gains double strike, vigilance, and X mana. X is equal to your experience points. Okay, that's just super awesome, right? Because that double strike and vigilance becomes a permanent evergreen on that card. So you can just make it so that things in your hand have double strike. And so they're just going to become complete pound daddies that are going to come down and wreck your opponent's face. So Path to Victory, that's a great name for a great ability. Giant's Triumph. Create a Greater Giant's Triumph token. You gain 10 experience. Now, that token is once again an enchantment, It is resilient, so that means that when it's matched, it gains 1 shield. And when a creature you control with base cost 14 or greater attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to the opponent's planeswalker and to the first opposing creature. So we're going to get into a bunch of the new cards that are coming out into Standard. There's this whole like giant thing that looks really awesome, but even without them, this ability is bonkers, right? I mean, it basically gives some big creature double strike, and then you throw in this ability here, Path to Victory, that gives them already double strike, and it's kind of like you're giving it like 3 times damage, which is super, super awesome and amazing. And then not only that, but it's going to start killing your opponent's first creature too. So you use this with Killer Instinct because, spoiler alert, this has red. And yeah, this Planeswalker I feel like is probably going to be a top tier Planeswalker. Just out the gate, my guess is that this will be like in my S tier list. It looks really, really good. Once again, this is on paper. I don't know. We'll have to see. So we're getting some new mechanics. We're getting Flashback. So Odyssey is coming into the game. Ooh, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Flashback. Flashback is a new graveyard mechanic that allows players to cast spells directly from their graveyard. It works similarly to Escape, but is better. But instead of focusing on gaining mana from graveyard gems only, it benefits from having other cards with Flashback in your graveyard, playing well with Self-Mill and Self-Discard. Flashback reads, when this card enters your graveyard from anywhere, the first card with Flashback in your graveyard gains 2 mana. When you cast this card from your graveyard, exile it. So if you use this with like Underrealm Lich, oh my, you can get so much free mana by having a whole bunch of things dump into your graveyard with Flashback and then just freely cast all of it. So all those things that make tokens, freely bring them into play. The burn damage, just bring it on. The Flashback, this is a really cool mechanic. I like how they did this. I like it a lot. Experience points. This is going to be the things from the Planeswalkers, but you gain experience. From what I saw in the tooltip thing or the picture, it's just going to be in the same place that Devotion is on your screen. So, changes. Ability hint change. Cast. A description has changed. A description? So, a card is cast if it's played from your hand or played from another zone by paying its mana cost. Alright, so that just means like when you play it from your graveyard for mana, it counts as casting it. Graveyard gems. They've changed it so that it makes it so that when you match a graveyard gem, the first card in your graveyard with buried that can gain mana gains 3 mana. So it's just changing the description, but it's not changing what it does. It just makes it a bit clearer. Mechanic change, Vigilance. I don't like this. I know a lot of people were complaining for a change to Vigilance, but I don't know. I mean, they gave a lot of the cards with Vigilance Defender, or at least like Razia, which is the one that I love so much. But the current Vigilance hint, red, or the previous Vigilant, was this creature blocks your opponent's creatures, but lets creatures with Defender or Reach block first. And then it got changed to, it will block only if it will survive combat damage of the damage step. So, yeah, your Vigilance critters will not block now unless they will live. So, I mean, there are times where that's going to be really good, and there's times where it's not, but I guess in all, if they're moving a bunch of things to having Defender and Reach, that it's really not too big of a deal. Some cards benefit from it, like Jeru, but not too many. Card changes. So, we're seeing a number of cards change because of Vigilance changing. So, Questing Beast, Realmcloak Giant, Linden Steadfast Queen, Fabro Elder, and that list goes on a lot. A lot. Also, the previous promotional cards that you could buy that changed, that were gem converters and did stuff, they're now in the Odyssey set. That's 200 mana crystals to buy a 3-pack of, and basically guarantees you get 4 Mirari copies. So, yeah, you should do that and get booster crafting orbs ASAP. To avoid potential misunderstandings, the description of the following cards with Adamant was changed. Searing Barrage, okay. Slaying Fire, yep. Turn into a Pumpkin, yep. So basically, they just added with Adamant that then this happens, right? So, I mean, they happen anyways, but it's just you get the first ability, and then the other thing happens if you have Adamant. So, Yeah. Arcades, I mean, it doesn't change. They're just changing the language to make the cards clearer. So I'm going to be really, really nice here and move on. In order to align some cards, there's been a change to the following cards. Razia, Underrealm Lich, and Ugin's Conjurant are losing prevent damage for 3 turns instead of 2. This is an effort to standardize with other cards that have the same ability. Palukranos and Oathsworn Knight. All right, so this is actually a huge deal for Razia. It's not so big of a deal for Underrealm Lich or Ugin's Conjurant, but this is a massive change to Razia because previously Razia would block something, and then it would lose prevent damage for that turn as soon as it did, if it took damage. And then the next turn, which would be yours, it still wouldn't have prevent damage. And then it would become your opponent's turn, and it would gain prevent damage back. So as long as it was just blocking one thing, it killed everything and made Razia kind of the greatest thing since sliced bread. And she could even slice that with the sword in her hands. So it made her even greater than sliced bread. But now, Razia, you are mortal. So poor Razia. You're a little bit less good, but you're still ridiculously amazing. So yeah. Rip Razia. Card, Emery Lurker of the Lock, has changed to not interact with artifact spells. Okay, so, and Molder Hulk. So both of these have changed so that instead of, you can't get like artifact spells being like those thingies that you cast, not supports, not creatures, that other thing. I say like spells like this just because in paper Magic, everything that's not a land is a spell, but in this game, spells are just like the magic things that you cast. So yeah, Emery does not bring back spells. Molder Hulk does not bring back spells. Planeswalker change. Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, same thing, does not bring back spells. Event changes. Avacyn's Madness, we're getting rid of Sacrifice from the Soul Swallower and getting a really easy objective. Cool. I'm fine with that. There are a lot of nodes in Avacyn's Madness. I like that event a lot. Other changes. The music in the battle has changed with a new song. I play without music on, so I don't even know what the original one sounded like, but I know that there are some people that are really happy about that. Bug fixes. There are... Oh my, there are a lot. There are a lot. There's some really, really good ones. I have heard, this is not from Octagon, I've heard from people that Urza has not been fixed because they haven't been able to recreate it. So if you're watching this video and you know exactly what's causing the Urza soft lock, please put that in the comment section. I'd love to know the exact cause. I know there are people that are theorizing that it has something to do with activated gems. So they're getting the crash with Castle Vantris out, but without it, they're not. So yeah, I need to test this myself, see if I can figure it out. But if you already know, please save me many hours and let me know. So, bug fixes. Oof, there are a lot. There are a lot. All right. Fixed some text-related issues. We've seen some of that, but yes, good. Fixed an issue with Happily Ever After's second effect triggering on different cases. Awesome. Fixed an issue where Thassa and Erebos were not triggering when your opponent doesn't have a creature. Good. Fixed an issue where Chord of Calling was not triggering if it didn't have any stored mana. That's actually really nice. I've actually had that. It's going to sound weird. I've had that win me a game by playing it with 0. So that was pretty cool. It was for a spell casting objective thing. Bond of Revival would get blocked to cast if there were 3 creatures on the battlefield. Okay, this one is really important. Fixed an issue where Harmonious Archon's effect would remain active in different cases. So when Harmonious Archon got killed, there were times where the effect would just stay active. So all the creatures would just stay neutered, unless they were tokens, at which point they became like super beasts. Fixed an issue where Ephemia the Cacophony was creating a 4/4 zombie instead of a 2/2. This is actually, and I know this is going to sound silly to you guys, but this is actually a really big buff to Ephemia because Ephemia was the only thing making these 4/4 zombies, which meant that if you used Ephemia in a zombie deck, you would have to sacrifice your zombie tokens. And since you're probably going to run Ephemia with like Grave Titan or something, this means that you can now contribute to the pile of zombies that you're going to be sending your opponent's way. And we've got a new really, really good zombie producing card coming out. So, or yeah, well, it's coming out. We don't have access to it yet as the time of my making the video. But yeah, okay. Big check for Ephemia. Fixed an issue where Nyx Bloom Ancient was converting its gems based on opponent's highest devotion color. Okay, so this was actually based on just whoever had the highest devotion. It's not the opponent's highest, it's whoever had the highest devotion. So this is a really nice fix for Nyx Bloom Ancient. There are so few decks that are relying on devotion that it doesn't happen a lot, but I know it could. So fixed an issue where Death Sprout would sometimes fetch a non-land support. Fascinating. I have never had that happen. And I use Death Sprout a lot. But other people do. I know they do. So, fixed an issue where Alhammarret's Archive, when combined with other cards, would not allow the trigger of those cards. Yeah, that was an old bug, so I'm glad that's fixed again. Duets of Mana, where cards fetched by Killer Instinct were not being accounted for on the fetcher. Thank goodness. Yeah. Fixed an issue with Duets of Mana, where Liliana Defiant Necromancer's Grave Mist ability would not count toward the loyalty objective. Interesting. Okay, cool. Where the adapt counter Evergreen was resetting whenever a support was cast by... I have not seen that one. A bunch of things with Fables of Eldraine. So, objective text, ability trigger, peasants. Fear me, peasants. Okay. Fervent Champion would not buff another night. Yep. Okay. Fixed an issue with Titanamaki, commander objective counting. Yay. Okay, we've got that one coming this weekend, so, right? Or was it last week? I think it's this weekend. But yeah, that's good. Tokens were being destroyed instead of exiled. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Game with soft lock when pressing not now. Yeah, that's good. Not that it existed, that it's gone. Game would crash whenever... Good. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, repeated reverberation. I haven't been able to use this card for a little bit. I really like it. It makes copies, and then things go boom. You can use it again safely. A Crow in War Chapter 1, and giving it... Yep. Yeah, that one. I have actually not tested that card at all yet, so now I can. That's good. Fixed an issue with no Vanguard would trigger its gain loyal, even if the player presses not now. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, it's good that got fixed, but yeah, that would be frustrating. Mask of Immolation. Dynavolt Tower's Energized mechanic was not creating Energized gems. That would be a stinker. I did not notice that. Niblis of Frost. Okay, legacy cards. That's why, though. New event. Oh my gosh. I'm already at minute 17, and I'm not done with this. Oh, geez. If you're still watching this, thank you. If you're not, then, well, you've got no idea what I'm talking about right now anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right. New event. Daxos versus Kalemni. This is going to be a new dual deck thing, except that it's standard. There are 34 new cards. Those 34 new cards count for standard. You can use them in standard events, and they are ridiculously good. 2 new Planeswalkers. We saw them. They look amazing. Get hyped. Hero's Path. Face the Hydra. Theros Beyond Death. PvE standard. 2 nodes with 3 encounters each. There's an entry fee. I'm wondering if this is going to be like part of the answer to what's going to happen when Ravnica stuff rolls out. Like the Rising Tensions is no longer standard. I don't know. All Planeswalkers are allowed. Cool. Each encounter features a different version of an enemy, increased status and ability, and you get to choose your own support card. That could be really, really cool. Yeah, I'm excited to play that. I wonder what the rewards are, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to play that. Seize the Day, Odyssey, PvP. It's a block event, so you can only use Origins, M19, M20, and Odyssey itself. There's an entry fee of 15 crystals. There's a rank reward. I mean, that could be good if they're not 5 mana jewels and a pack. Well, we'll see. Don't get ahead of yourself. All Planeswalker colors are allowed. Cool. Recharge time. Cool. And node themes. Atogs, Cabal, and Battle. Awesome. Yeah, okay, so I love that they're adding Odyssey into this game. I mean, that definitely opens the door for them to to add more sets to the game, just like some things that we haven't seen yet. So, yeah, I mean, in Puzzle Quest. But, I mean, there's just so much stuff in Magic that could be added. That's really cool. New content. We've got 60 new cards from Odyssey. We've got 2 new Planeswalkers. Sweet. New Vanguards. Yeah, they exist. The Ashiok one is awesome with Ashiok. New full art cards. Okay. I haven't seen those ones yet, actually. A bunch of new bundles. So these here are all cards. These two are, I don't know, cards probably, but maybe packs. Jewels, Vault Bundle. Okay. Improvements. Okay, this is the thing that I said was at the end, that like it's almost like it's like an afterthought, but no. Initial loading time decreased. Game performance improved. I know they've been working on this for a while. I'm glad that it's out. I'm glad that you guys see that it's out. I've actually already noticed a difference on my phone. Just getting into the game, getting into matches is quicker. So I'm really glad about this one. This is a really big improvement for me. Card gallery. I'm not gonna go through all of these at this precise moment because of the 20 minutes. But yeah, these in particular, this dual deck, they're awesome. The From the Vault Odyssey, I would start saving crystals a little bit. There's a lot of things that you're going to want to use crystals on coming up. So the two Planeswalkers, so Kalemny and Daxos, you're probably going to want to get your hands on. They're going to be 650 mana crystals each. That's 1,300 mana crystals for both. And if you spend all of your crystals on Odyssey, you won't be able to get them. Dual decks, if this winds up working out the same way as Zendikar versus Eldrazi, you buy those packs, those mythics, and those rares with mana crystals. So if you buy out all of the Odyssey stuff, you won't be able to get those either. So I'm not saying don't get the Odyssey stuff. I'm just saying you probably are still going to want to save up a little bit because these cards are nuts. They're so good. So good. The Vanguards. If you like Vanguards, get them. If you don't like them, don't get them. Simple and easy. So, yeah, the basic run of this is a fantastic patch. This is a really, really good patch. It's addressing a lot of things that I've been really hoping to see. So, a lot of bug fixes. Game performance is better. A whole bunch of new cards, new Planeswalkers, and a bunch of new events. So, all in all, it's a win all around, I think. So, yep. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one.